Ooh, I like those keys. Drake's new ICEMAN sound isn't really trap, but it's not really full R&B either. It's really this weird middle ground where smooth R&B samples meet gritty trap drums with some synths and beat switches, and they all come together really, really nice. Today we're gonna go over which elements from each genre should be combined to create this new sound, and how to transition between these two styles very seamlessly in your beats. First, we're gonna start with an R&B sample. We want some smooth keys, some really nice vocals. So let's click Romantic Soulful and see what we got here. I like those vocals up there. Ooh. Ooh, I like those keys and those vocals. I like that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab all the stems for the sample. The most distinguishable combination between these two styles is the trap percussion over the R&B sample. We're gonna start with the high-end percussion, the hi-hats, the claps, snares, and the little perks in the background. I'm gonna slow this down to about 80 BPM. So first we wanna make sure these are all in stretch mode. Yeah, that's what I like. Yeah, that one's perfect. We can even do some rolls in here. Okay, yeah, let's do that clap. I really like using these open hats to just give it a little bit more bounce, and then when it layers with the kick that we're gonna do a little bit later, it just comes together really, really well. Yeah, let's tighten it up a little bit.
What?
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's such a Drake vibe. Cool. All right, I don't want to do too much for this section. These drums are supposed to be very simple. Let the artist do what they want to do in between. So the biggest way to differentiate between these two sections is with the bass line. So as you can see in this R&B part, we have this sub bass right here. But for the trap section, we want to add a long subby 808 that can layer between the kick. Before we put the 808 down, we want to cut the low end out of our melody just so those low frequencies don't clash in the mix. Let's start with the kick. Yeah, let's boost it a little bit, or let's do the EQ. Yep. Perfect. Now let's get that long 808 that layers with this kick perfectly. Probably this one. My favorite part about using these samples is they come with every single MIDI for every single stem. So we can go and grab the bass MIDI from this sample. We don't have to guess what the root notes of the chords are. We don't have to bring it up the octave, test the pitch. We can literally just go in here, grab the bass MIDI, drag it in, and that's our bass line. Let's just crank these velocities up. And I want this to just kind of duplicate what the kick is doing. Let's hear what this B would sound like down the octave. Yeah, probably that. This E definitely comes down. I'm gonna put a little bit of distortion on that 808, just a little bit. Too much. I want to bring this vocal back. We can bring it up an octave and see how that sounds. Since it's slowed down, those waveforms are a little bit stretched out. It's kind of weird, so we're gonna put some reverb on that. So the signature of Drake's new fusion sound is the beat switch, and a lot of his songs just have a completely different beat, different melody, different key, drums, everything completely different. But something I like to do to elevate my beat switches is use elements from the first beat in the second beat. So what we're gonna do now is create a second beat for the beat switch, but we're still gonna use some of the elements from the first beat. A lot of the new Drake trap beats have a synthesizer arpeggio, whether it's a short one, a long one. An example of this is in Janus STFU, we have that arpeggio synthesizer that just plays the whole time all the way through the track. So we're gonna do a different chord progression now. Since this is in B minor, we're just gonna go straight with the B minor arpeggio. Super simple. So this isn't gonna be a full beat switch, but we're gonna completely switch up the vibe of the beat. A lot of these trap beats also have a lot of orchestral sounds, so we're gonna go ahead and do a string section for this one. That's cool. It's too loud though. Now what we're gonna do is add the 808, but we wanna make sure that it stays on the root note. You know what? Actually, we can just copy this, paste it in. The only thing is, I don't like to have the 2 at the beginning, so let's do that and bring it down to B. Let's do this. Let's make a new 808. I wanna just boost it a little bit, just to make it hit harder for this section. So let's go to EQ, boost this up. So for this beat switch section, I'm gonna have just the 808 and the melody, and then I'll let the drums come in after. Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. I like that. So I brought the synthesizer up an octave to make it just a little more energetic. So now I like to do a callback to the original beat section. So I'm gonna go grab those vocals and we can chop them up and flip them to work with this section as well. That's cool. I like that. What if I do a reverse kick drum there? Let's hear how that would sound. Let's cut it a little bit so those high frequencies don't get involved. Yeah. So let's see what kind of sound effects we have here. Ooh, that's cool. Let's try that one for this part. And there's risers. Let's grab one of these risers. And for the beat switch, let's put one right here. Let's do a riser for that. Yeah. Those vocals add so much to that beat. That's fire. So if you want to use any of the samples I use in this video, go ahead and click the description and download the Emotional Essence bundle from Wavegrind. It's over 10,000 royalty-free samples. Every sample comes with stems and midis, and you can make beats like this or with any kind of emotion that you want. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.